I want to focus on the topic here. I want to focus on the topics here today.
I'll be quick. I know that you say you're happy being the governor of Florida, but could you be happier if you were at a national level type role if Pete Hegseth doesn't go through?
So listen, what I've said is, how can you be the most impactful? Is there another governor in the country that's been more impactful over the last 6 years? You guys? I mean, so. And, you know, it's not just the governor. I mean, the attorney general's been there. We've had some great partners in the legislature, done a lot of great things. You know, sometimes it's been smooth, sometimes it's not been so smooth, but eventually we land the ship and get things done. And that's true whether it's look at what we've paid off for state debt. We have the lowest per capita state debt in the entire United States of America. If the federal government could follow that, we'd be in much better shape. We have enacted policies to combat rioting and looting and everything you saw in the summer of 2020. That does not fly in the state of Florida, and we back the men and women of law enforcement in a really, really big way. We have universal school choice, so parents can send their kid to the school of their choice. We have more school choice in Florida. If you just looked at Florida school choice, we have over a third of the entire country's school choice participants, which is phenomenal. We also, we used to say Florida is where woke goes to die. We killed things like ESG and DEI and the entire woke agenda. We got it out of our schools, and people know that stuff's just not going to fly in the state of Florida. We also stood strong when very few were willing to during the most hysterical days of COVID. When I was saying I ordered the schools to remain open, oh my gosh, what the flack I got for that. Are you kidding me? Teachers union suing us, trying to get the schools closed. All these things, and yet people will come up to me to this day and say, if it wasn't for that, I don't know if our family would have been able to make, our kids needed to be in school. We did an executive order because the legislature at the time wasn't willing to legislate. We banned forced masking of school children in the state of Florida, and that was very controversial at the time. Now it's something that's good. And if it wasn't for Florida during COVID, this country would not have recovered. We wouldn't have gotten out of the lockdown culture. We're the ones that broke the back of the Fauciism that was in this country. And that was a very important role for this state to play. Election integrity, we've led the nation in election integrity. On issue after issue, we've delivered big results. So ultimately, it's, are you making a big impact for the people that you represent? I'm not saying Florida governor is the maximal you can possibly have in elected office, but it's pretty darn close when you look at that. And so we got more work to do. Fortunately, we've been able to accomplish whatever I promised to do, I've done, and then some. So we're basically playing with house money at this point, and that's great. And we're going to do more, and we're going to keep having fun. But you know, I kind of got a kick out of people speculating, like, will he appoint himself to the United States Senate? And I'm like, for anyone that spent 5 minutes with me, I don't think there would be much speculation that the answer to that would be no. But it was not something that I think is. So we'll hold the fort down here in the state of Florida. I think we can be very helpful to help the president's agenda. I think we can play a good supporting role when senators like Ashley Moody are fighting for us, and we can be there in support for some of those policies to bring power back to the states. But this is really, really significant. You know, we basically have an experiment ongoing in this country when people vote with their feet. And if you look over the last many years, we've been the place people have come to. Even 23, when, you know, you had, or 23, 24, you know, you had illegals leaving, which was good because of our policies. But, you know, you had a lot of people that wanted to come, and we've continued to build the economy and all these other things. So it's really, really positive. I think we can be very, very supportive in a variety of ways of what's going on there. But I've never asked for anything, and I'm not in a position where I'm being offered anything. So we'll keep the fight going. We look forward. I'll be up at the inauguration. You know, we got to figure out. So they're going to vote on Rubio. maybe I have to stay around to help Ashley get sworn in the Senate that afternoon. I was planning on not doing the balls because they're having the national championship game that night. And, my son Mason, he was in the first round of the college football playoffs, he got 3 of the 4 games right. In the next round, the quarterfinals, he got 3 of the 4 right. The semifinals, he got both games right. So now we have Notre Dame, Ohio State. And the First Lady prodded him on his decision, and he said he's not ready to make a decision yet on that. So when we get one, we'll put it out just in time for you guys to place your bets. But I think the problem that he's having is, he is a huge Florida State fan. I'm not going to tell him that Ashley went to Florida and it's not anything Casey and I have done. I mean, I didn't go there. Casey didn't go there. But we're in Tallahassee, right, as a family since I got elected. And he goes to games. He does all this. So he's like really, really passionate. So we went to the Notre Dame game in South Bend, Florida State and Notre Dame. And do we have any Florida State fans that are willing to admit on that? They lost by 50 to Notre Dame. So that wasn't good, but, he got to go around campus, he saw Touchdown Jesus, he got to go to the field, he got to do all that. So I think he kind of likes it. So I think but he's only in first grade, but he's smart, he knows sports. And so I think he really wants Notre Dame, but I think he's watched Ohio State, particularly their first 2 games in the playoffs, and they didn't do as impressive against Texas, but they were still pretty strong. And I think he's just worried that if he goes with his heart, or does he go with his head? And I think his head's pulling him to Ohio State, but I think his heart's pulling him to Notre Dame. And so if he comes to a decision, we'll make sure to disseminate that very quickly. Thanks, everybody.